This is my Steam Deck. I've had this device for about a year and a half, and I think it's one of the best devices I've personally ever used, but definitely one of the best handhelds. I'm always thinking back to the PSP days, and then even further back to the Game Boy days. I'm gonna put it down for now, and we're here to talk about an even newer device, and that's the Lenovo Legion Go. And that's this beast right here. This thing is freaking massive. I mean, look at it. It is just huge, the screen is huge. When it comes to handhelds, I think each person has to decide which device is best for them. In this video, I'm gonna do a little bit of a casual review and an overview of this new Legion Go, which has been out roughly a month now at the time of this video. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of what this thing is capable of. For the internal specs, we have the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor, 16GB of RAM, and storage capacity in the 512GB and 1TB SSD models. And we also have that 8.8-inch QHD touchscreen display. Now, I said it before, in terms of the size, this thing is big. We have the OLED Switch, the Steam Deck, and the Legion Go. So the Switch weighs about 0.93 pounds, the Steam Deck 1.48 pounds, and the Legion Go 1.88 pounds. Just saying the weight of these different devices might not mean much to you, but it's something that you might have to experience in person. Even though you do feel the weight, it feels like it's distributed evenly enough. One of the reasons this device gets a ton of points from me is that display. It is an 8.8-inch QHD display in your hands. Colors truly pop, and the size of the screen is great because when you hold it in front of you, it is so immersive. Since the Legion Go is a portable handheld, I decided to do my own battery test. So I did a more demanding game, which was Red Dead Redemption 2, versus a less demanding game, which was Horizon Chase Turbo. I played these games like I normally would. I didn't really tweak any settings. I played until I got to the 10% battery left message. For Red Dead Redemption 2, that took about an hour and 21 minutes. And then on Horizon Chase Turbo, it took about 2 hours and 2 minutes. The stand is really beneficial when you want to place the Legion Go on a desk or a table. On the device, we do have Hall effect joysticks, and there's currently an issue with the dead zones, and in some games you can change that in the in-game settings, but Lenovo has announced that they're working on an update to fix further dead zone issues. If you use Steam, you can also change the controller options in the settings. To remove the detachable controllers, you'll see these little buttons on the back of the controller, and what you want to do is push that button and pull the controllers down. So something I'm not totally a fan of is the placement of the joysticks. On the Steam Deck, the joysticks are level. Something I've noticed that a lot of people really love about the Steam Deck is the trackpads. There's two. On the Legion Go, we only have one trackpad. One button that I definitely had to get used to was the placement of the start button. Usually you'll see that on the right side. Moving on to speakers, this is where I'd probably mark off a point. I'll get into FX sound a little bit later. Here's a test with the speakers at 100%. On the back of the Legion Go, we have these back buttons, and as you can see, they're placed differently, and that's because of the FPS mode. Now, if you look at the bottom of the right controller, you'll see an FPS mode button. When we switch this on and remove the controller from the device, you can essentially use this as a mouse, and that's not totally for me. I tried it out here with Halo Reach. It's cool to have an additional mode that you can use specifically for first-person shooters or anything that really requires a mouse. The overall feel of the Legion Go is nice. I really do like the depth of these grips because you hold it and it does feel like something beefier, kind of like the Xbox 360 controller. I'm not directly comparing it to that, but I do like having a thicker controller, but again, that's preference. The Legion Go is running Windows 11, and I know some people kind of have an issue with that, having Windows on a handheld. It's been a pretty pleasant experience, and certain things like modding has been great. Having Windows PC, you might already be familiar with emulating, and that'll translate really well to the Legion Go. I downloaded a software called FX Sound, and if you click on it, you can manually adjust all these little settings, but there's a preset, and you can select different options. There is a gaming option. I currently have it set to music. Legion Space definitely needs work, and since I've had the device, there's been 2 or 3 updates. Really happy that Lenovo is addressing the problems with the software. At first it was just very buggy, but I do like that quick options button. Before, you would click it and you would have to do it twice to get the quick options. The first click would open a separate menu, but now you just click it once and you have the ability to change the resolution, the refresh rate, and a bunch of other options. I've set my thermal mode to performance and my OS power mode to efficiency. I've been playing games at 1280 by 800. To be able to play at that top resolution of 2560 by 1600, you're definitely going to be playing a less demanding game. Now, I've had a lot of success with the 1920 by 1200. In terms of the refresh rate, I've been keeping that consistently at 144 Hz. I haven't messed around too much with the Radeon Super Resolution option, but that was just recently added. I briefly mentioned modding earlier, and all I can really say is that if you've ever modded on a Windows PC, this is pretty much the same experience. Like the Steam Deck, the Legion Go comes with its own case. And sure, it's bulky, but it feels very protective, and it feels like if I were to drop it with the Legion Go in it, it would be safe. But I'm not going to test that out. For audio, I use the SONY XM3 headphones. For these headphones, I generally use Bluetooth, but it is nice that there is an aux port included on the device. Thumb grips aren't necessary, but it's nice to have them. The PS5 DualSense controller is one of my favorite controllers, and it's so simple to pair with Bluetooth. I use this device almost exclusively plugged in, so I got a 10-foot long cable and a 65-watt power adapter. You also have the micro SD card slot. It's a great option when you want to expand storage. Like the Steam Deck, you can dock the Legion Go to any TV or external monitor. One of the reasons I don't do it as often is because I got the device because of the awesome display it already has. One of the issues I've heard is that since it is a native vertical screen, some games, especially some older games, might not work the way you expect them to. Now there is a couple workarounds, and you can go into the Windows settings and mess around with the rotation settings in the display options, and that might help with certain games. I've seen the community discuss the fan noise, and it's definitely loud, especially if you have the device on full fan speed. Like me, I'm sure a lot of you watching appreciate good audio. Now you're not going to totally get that here. The speakers, again, they're not the best speakers. They do get decently loud, but with the fan as well, it's not the best experience for speakers on a handheld. And I believe that's because of the detachable controllers and the speakers facing upwards as opposed to facing you like on the Steam Deck or the ROG Ally. Legion Space definitely needs work, but it has been updated a couple times already. It will be hopefully in a better spot in a couple of months. But for now, you can sidestep it if you don't want to use it and use something like Play Night to launch your games, or Big Picture mode on Steam. These are some of the big talking points the community is currently discussing, and a lot of the issues I've seen are software side, so I'm hoping, like the Steam Deck, that Lenovo will continuously update the Legion Go. But with that beautiful display, if you can handle the weight of the device, I think you'll truly enjoy it if it's something that you're interested in. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.